Firstly, creating a constitution and laws that meet the specific needs and circumstances of the country is never a purely legal process. It demands a keen understanding of our society, its vulnerabilities, the likely problems, and the solutions to these problems that have the best chance of working. This requires political experience and judgment. The men who created these three institutions were not scholars or philosophers. They were practical men, men who governed Singapore and had spent decades creating this improbable nation and making it work. They were acutely conscious of what made Singapore tick, where our fault lines were, and how very easily things could go wrong. They were not chasing ideological purity or conceptual tidiness, but what worked and would benefit Singapore. They relied on their creativity and judgment to conceive and design institutions which were uniquely suited to our context and which remedied real weaknesses in our political system. Secondly, these constitutional innovations cannot be divorced from their contemporary political context, nor from the larger changes in Singapore's demographics. For example, 2 decades after independence, a major demographic shift was underway. The pioneer generation that had run budget surpluses and built up our reserves was fading away. The next generation that would inherit the nest egg had not lived through the existential crisis of the founding years. That motivated the search for ways to prevent a profligate government from squandering these reserves, and hence the elected presidency. In the 1984 general election, some candidates used blatant racial appeals to win votes. That gave renewed urgency to ensuring multiracial representation in Parliament. Mr. Lee, as Jaya recounted just now, had been contemplating this problem since the 1970s, and GRCs were the solution to this enduring vulnerability. Thirdly, in the Anson by-election in 1981, an opposition candidate, Mr. J.B. Jayakumar, won a parliamentary seat for the first time since independence. That cemented Mr. Lee Kuan Yew's conviction that we needed to create an outlet for a younger generation's desire for opposition voices in Parliament. And having watched how Mr. Jayarathna's presence had sharpened parliamentary debates, Mr. Lee also concluded that having opposition MPs in Parliament would keep ruling party MPs on their toes. That led to the NCMP scheme. Thirdly, however, in creating these institutions, Mr. Lee and the younger ministers looked beyond the immediate circumstances. Their predominant concern was not the present, but the future. They sought to build a constitutional framework that would last, one they knew the younger ministers would have to operate, one that would bind future governments, whether formed by the PAP or other parties.